Hello again. This is the pickled head of Stephen Hawking on a way cool rocket, giving you the recap of Week 3 of the Chippewa All-Stars Fantasy League. We kick off the recap with a game between the Lions and Packers, and there is so much material here that I do not know where to start. Do I begin with Shankalicious being fired and management courting a dead man to replace him? The defense doing all of the grunt work and shutting down the Packers during the first half? Or should I start with a linebacker doing the most Lions-like thing possible and hurting himself during a celebration? Insert Family Guy-style cutaway here.
I think I gloated so hard I pulled a muscle.
In Cincinnati, Andy Dalton was part of a trick play that resulted in his becoming the first quarterback in Bengals franchise history to be on the receiving end of a touchdown, an act that further perpetuated the stereotype of the sneaky, thieving Irishman. I am assuming that he is Irish so that I do not further pick on the Scottish, who have been suffering from mommy issues this week. Anyhow, congratulations to that unattractive ginger bastard for bringing a bit more excitement to the game. Now hand over your lucky charms, because stereotypes exist for a reason.
Thank you.
During the game between the Eagles and the Redskins, there was a huge fight between a bunch of cheesesteak-eating fat asses and oblivious racists. No one is the winner in this situation except for Kirk Cousins, who continues to be the one bright spot coming out of the miserable state of Michigan. That is right, I said it. Fuck you, Tom Brady. There was a matchup between the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks, and that reminded us of how boring the past Super Bowl was. The only reason we watched was because a lot of us had players in the game and the fact that Bruno Mars was thankfully absent. Sadly, Marshawn Lynch got some of his hair pulled out by a member of the Broncos defense. This is messed up because 1, it was legal, and 2, all of his power was in his hair. He is like that one dumbass from the Bible, and because of it he cannot activate beast mode anymore. Unless of course he and Megatron are able to find the Allspark and bring back the glory of the Decepticons. Wait, is that the plot of the movies? I do not know anymore. Michael Bay really fucked things up for the franchise, especially by giving Marky Mark more work. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers exist, and Roger Goodell had a press conference this past week. That is the joke. Enough comedy, on to the next thing. A few of the games this week came down to the wire, but thanks to the lunacy that was Week 3, some of these were decided before the 4:30 game on Sunday. This week, we have bogus adventure over football and the groin, pelvic sorcery over Sue's team, Einhorn is Finkel over I Am Groot. And the capitalist pig dogs thoroughly giving distracted by my non-existent problems of fierce fucking. Now for the trophies for the week. Joe Nelson's team finally performed after 2 weeks of terrible output, and like insert specific race or gender here, they lazed about and fed off of the teat of the government or a big pharma or their daddy's trust fund before deciding it was worth their time to finally do some work. For that, Joe, you get the Oh Yeah Trophy of the week. Carl, I am not even going to dignify your performance with a witty response. You get nothing. Enjoy your shitty, factual name, dude. Of course, I would be remiss if I did not mention our high-scoring players this past week. The top 3 were Andrew Luck with 32.3 points, Julio Jones with 28.1 points, and Kirk Cousins with 27.6 points. Amazingly, the Falcons' defense scored 28 points this past week, though mostly because they were playing against a team from Tampa Bay who had most likely never seen a football until that day. Sigh. Sigh. Here come the headaches. Cue the awesome depressing music. Leading off our parade of awfulness is the fact that many of the players in the league barely came close to 100 points, a feat that is endemic of injuries, odd schedules, and terrible choices. Hell, Terry, who had been on top of the world the past 2 weeks, was a red cunt hair away from going from first to worst. Thankfully Carl decided to be a gentleman and to take a bullet for her. Move, dumbass. Earning some much-needed abuse this week is Tristan. He has not had any luck with setting up his team the past 2 weeks, with players being hot and cold in equal measure. Let us not even start on the injured, suspended, and just outright terrible players that he has picked or traded for. Despite all this, he is an amazing individual who deserves nothing but love, appreciation, and respect. Okay, I have said the thing. Where is my check? Now on to next week. Is anyone who actually keeps track of these predictions? I mean, what is my track record? It has got to be terrible at this point. Just because I am a machine does not mean my predictions should be gospel. Anyhow, here is the breakdown for the week. My computations predict that football and the groin will win over Sue's team. I am Groot over the capitalist pig dogs, pelvic sorcery over bogus adventure, and a transvestite will beat someone even less desirable in bed. In terms of the NFL, the games to watch are the Lions at the Jets, the Packers at the Bears, and the Saints at the Cowboys. Of course, with how this season has gone, there is no telling where the next big game is going to be. Anyhow, that's all the time I have. Good luck to you all this week, tip your waitresses, and try the veal. Good night.